I'm going to do a compressor on a 2010 XC90 3.2 liter. They're not super hard, so I'm just going to kind of tear through, and the parts that hung me up I'll explain, but getting all the plastic out of the way is the hardest part. Most of them don't have this airbox cover, but they do. Oh, they do. This is XC90. The ECU is right here. These are pretty easy connectors to deal with. Push them in, gently slide them on, get them out of the way. Unplug your mass airflow meter, pull your airbox up, and out of the way. Now, some of these cars you can get away with leaving this tube in, this one you can. Couple different ways to approach this. Since I don't have to go very far in, I'm just going to take the power steering rest and lay it out of the way best I can, or just let it hang there because you're taking off this engine support. Now we're going to have trouble. The XC60 is way more open than this. It doesn't have this fuse box and everything there. This is all pretty self-explanatory once you look at it. Two bolts come out. In this bracket goes the compressor. Goes right here. Now there's one more bracket in here that you're going to have to take off. This thing. This is just so you can get to the tensioner. You can't really get a wrench on the tensioner without taking this out. It's no big deal. It's just 2 10s. Try not to drop your bolts into oblivion. There's like a chasm in here that you lose a bolt in, and it is gone. No kidding. Alright, so I've already had this whole deal on the evac machine. It's not even done yet, and I'm already to the point where I'll be pulling the compressor. So I have to wait a couple minutes. The tensioner, 19 mil, you just get into it. Once again, these are not the most fun. Not a lot of room. What I do is I grab my wrench and then I usually pull it down as far as I can and pop it off over the idler here on the tensioner. And that's enough. That'll give you enough slack to slide the belt off the compressor to the side. And that's all you need to do at that point. So from where we are here, excuse the camera work. So from this point, there's a couple options. Sometimes you'll have to pull that vacuum pump, but in this case I didn't have to. I was able to get a wrench to it. Obviously, once you evacuate your system, pull your 13s off here, pull your 10 here, and you already took this one out when you took the cross member, this engine support bar out. And then down here, there's your two connectors for the... Alright, now this part's the evac machine just finished, so now you pop your 13s off your lines, and I have my new compressor is right here. So I try to keep the system open for as little time as possible. Wow, that is tight. I've already got my connectors on the bottom of the compressor unplugged. So now that I've got those a little bit loose, come back in, set my 10s out of the compressor. They are different lengths. My compressor's loose. Now, even if you have it evac, there may still be some pressure, so be a little bit careful pulling these. Just a wiggle. You got a little bit of tiny pressure release. Alright. Pop that one out of the way. Sometimes they get really nice and stuck. Now I'm not going to pry on anything really, I'm just going to get in there and turn this a little bit. It seems like it's actually stuck on the stud. So. Wow, dude, it's super corroded on there. There we go. Alright, now those are out of the way. Your compressor just lifts out. You can see the corrosion that was holding that line on. So now I have to take my new compressor, put her in place. Remember to make sure your belt's on all the pulleys before you do this part, because sometimes you won't be able to slide the thing around it. Compressor in. At least it hit the floor. Oh, leave me alone. All right. compressor had a little pressure in it. Odd. Usually take a little bit of oil. And these come with O-rings in them, and they're the good ones. So now you take your, so these are the old O-rings. Take a little oil. I'm not replacing the O-rings on the line because I've already replaced these O-rings. She had an AC leak. Ended up being the compressor anyway. So that's in. Bring your other one up. A little bit of oil. Jam it in there. Cool. Put your 13s on. The new nuts are actually 12s. And that's tight. Alright, now before you tighten your compressor down, grab your wrench again. Ah, see, this is the part I forgot to mention. If you let the tensioner go all the way up, you can't get your wrench back onto it. Because the vacuum pump is in the way. So I'm going to reposition and try to do this the hard way. See, I just put a pry bar on the tensioner face, and now I can pull my belt back around the capacitor if I'm lucky. Sweet. Check that's on your alternator pulley. You're not tensioning it yet, and now you still got to fight it back around the power steering pump. All while holding the tensioner. It's not super fun. Under, and you're good to go. Tighten your tins, and that's replacing it. Grab your wrench. Alright, so what you're looking for is you have your alternator pulley right there, compressor pulley, power steering pump in the back, idler, and your tensioner. So impossible to see from this angle. Alright, you see the tensioner right there. That's the location. So I have all my grooves and everything lined up and my belt moves nice. So I'm just going to continue on with putting it back together, then putting the recharge on it. Putting an evac, then I have to hold vacuum for probably 30 minutes before I'll trust it. And that's it. These aren't that difficult.